Y'all on?
Again.
Start over.
Hello.
I messed up.
Welcome back again. Mickey forgot to. Oh. Listen, I was going to talk about Mickey, but now I have my phone on. Mickey forgot to plug up the microphones.
Yeah, my bad.
Shouts out to A10 News Media Group and the greatest producer in the world, Mickey Jordan. He forgot. That's okay. So, again, welcome everyone to the special edition of the Wyntis Hall show. You guys have been asking for Mr. John Carpenter. He is here now. He was supposed to come on last week. I got my own days mixed up. And so that's why he didn't come. It was supposed to be last Wednesday, not last Thursday, but he's here today. Mr. John Carpenter, I got to see him speak at Flint City Council meeting. He was speaking on the golf courses, the dreadful golf courses that we have been talking about for a long time on Flint Politics Reboot. We've been talking about those two golf courses that they practically just want to give away to someone for a couple bucks. But let's back up because we're going to skip around here. I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. I know him as a man working for the Don under the Williamson administration. Mr. John Carpenter, please introduce yourself to.
Well, first, let me thank you for the invitation.
No problem. Thank you.
I welcome the opportunity to share with you and with your listeners.
Thank you.
Some of my take on working for someone else, on working for yourself, and particularly in this case, in working for government.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my background, for some of you who don't know me, I worked for AC Sparkplug many years ago. I worked for a building contractor developer many years ago. I owned 2 Century 21 offices and a Coldwell Banker office in some years in the past. I've been a sales consultant for the automotive aftermarket. I've been a builder and developer, having built 2,000 homes and condominiums in 3 different states.
Mm-hmm.
And so my background is in the issue that we're talking about, particularly on the golf course, is extensive. I managed Sugarbush Golf Club from its near bankruptcy
I've heard of Sugarbush.
Or nonprofit.
Yeah,
I should say. Belonged to Mayor Williamson back in the day. He bought from the IMA
mm-hmm.
and contacted me about possibility of selling that property to a developer. And when I went there to the golf course, I came back with him to give him a price, and I told him, Don, I can't sell a golf course with dandelions on the green.
Right.
You have to clean this place up. And he said, well, if you think you can clean it up,
have at it,
pay my taxes and insurance and employees and everything, then you run it.
Right.
So which was my first experience with running a golf course. But I did have some development and real estate, extensive background in that and in managing people, many people.
Okay.
And so I took that on and turned it into a profitable entity, whereupon he didn't want to sell it.
I bet he didn't.
No, he didn't.
That's the Don.
He changed his mind.
Sure,
yeah,
he did.
That's the Don, as you and I,
right.
As you and I refer to him. But anyway, that gives me extensive experience in the subject for which I agreed to come here and to share with your audience, listening audience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I winter in Florida in the winter.
Okay.
I don't play in the snow anymore. I don't downhill ski, ice fish, snowmobile.
Okay. So you just take off like, hey, like I want to do one day, go to go to Florida,
whatever, play outside. So I go to Lakeland in the winter.
Okay.
Well, shortly after I arrived there last year, a gentleman, a friend of mine by the name of Mike Kilbreath, called me.
Yes, I know Mike.
And he said, John, did you know that the city management contract for the 2 golf courses is coming up for a bid? And so why are you calling me? Well, you're not going to believe this, John. The current people who have the contract to manage is the contract coming up is an attorney and a bookkeeper, accountant, or I don't know if he's a CPA or what their backgrounds are, but they have both golf courses for $15,000 a year.
Wow.
Per year, Mike? Yes, $15,000 per year. Okay, well,
so Mr. Carpenter, if I can just put a pin in that right there, the good days at Sugarbush, an average month, a good month, how much did the golf course bring in?
Well, that's been some years ago now. So my recollection is it was around 30,000 a week, 36.9, about
30,000 a week.
In the end, it was. So it would be 12. It would take about 120,000 a month.
On a good month, 120,000.
Well, in the golf course, we don't need to discuss that extensively, but Mother Nature is the boss.
Right.
If it rains on Saturday, for example,
you lose money.
a group of 4 guys comes out to make a tee time, and they're unable to play golf because of the rain. They don't come back next week and play 36.
Oh, okay.
So that day is gone.
Okay.
So there is some element of luck, but there is a national average also, and so you can take information that you receive on a golf course that's being ran now and be able to project that based on Mother Nature's attitude as to whether it's going to rain on Saturday, or if it rains on Tuesday night,
right?
It's okay.
Absolutely.
But she doesn't check with the golf course,
right? She doesn't.
She rains whenever she feels like it.
Absolutely.
And so that's sort of an unknown element.
Okay.
But,
so he called you and he said, "You know what, John? They got 2 golf courses, $15,000. You say?"
Oh, I said, "Mike, you got to be kidding me." No, I'm not kidding you, John. It's coming up. It's coming up for a renewal.
Okay.
And they're going to send it out to bid. So will you tell them now? I was talking off the top of my head at the time, but $15,000, you multiply that times 5, and I'll make that for my opening bid.
Okay. Because you know you're going to make it back.
Well, of course. I know from my personal experience in the golf course business, in a single golf course, and I've played on leagues at Swartz Creek also. Very nice golf course. Mother Nature's really the boss there because of all the creeks and the water and that. But
right.
Very nice golf course there. They have a bar and a restaurant there. So is that including the bar and restaurant? I said, John, that includes everything.
Whoa.
I said, Mike, listen to me. Let's say you and I want to start a golf course.
Right.
And the first thing that we're going to need to do is we have to figure out how much are the taxes going to be. Are they paying taxes? No, they're not paying any taxes. So, Mike, you got to be kidding.
They're not paying any taxes to the city of Flint.
No, they're leasing the
golf course
of the golf course.
Right.
So how about the equipment, Mike? I mean, there are maybe several hundreds of golf carts there. There has to be mowing equipment. Do you have to bring your own equipment? No, that's all furnished. So you got to be kidding. What about the bar and the restaurant? Are those included? Yeah, the bar and restaurant's included also. I said, okay, well, put me in. I'll set aside X number of dollars of my own, and I know of several friends and golfing buddies that would go in with me and more than double that and assist me in managing it. So I don't know what the deal is, but put me down.
Put you down, right? Sign you up.
He went to city council and he talked to Councilman Quincy Murphy.
Okay.
And he talked to Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer.
Okay. Quincy Murphy and Dennis Pfeiffer.
And he inquired to them, did they know that this was coming up for a renewal, and that the mayor, current mayor, intended to renew the existing contract for 5 more years. And so I said, Mike, contact the council people and tell them about this, and tell them that you request as a citizen to put this out for bids.
Absolutely. This is amazing.
What happened there, and this was in November. This was in November of a year ago. He went to the meeting, and Mike, and he spoke at that meeting, and as a result, it was sent back to finance, and they were originally had an 8-0 vote to renew. But when Mike went there and spoke to them and mentioned that I was interested in bidding on that, a substantial amount more than that they're paying, is only fairness to the citizens of the city of Flint.
Right, to get more
money.
Yeah, bang for their buck. Right.
it's okay with it's okay with me. I can pay more money and
You
still,
probably could even pay the taxes.
and still. Hello, didn't have to pay any taxes, didn't have to buy any equipment. I don't know what else is in that contract. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Went back to finance, and it was referred then back to the next meeting where it was voted 9-0 to put it out for bids.
Right.
Originally was 8-0 because one of them was because Dennis Pfeiffer was absent, so it was 8-0.
Okay.
Back that time when it got to council was 9-0. Now that would be sometime in January. I apologize for not having, but all
That's
this
okay.
can, all
That's
this
okay.
can, all this can be verified.
Right.
In fact, if there's anyone in your listening audience who's out there who doubts or challenges anything that I have to share with you today,
anything,
then you invite them to come and sit in the seat here where I am today, and challenge that.
I sure will.
Or refute it.
I will.
So anyway, getting back to that. So that meeting was 9-0. That was in January. Seems to me January, February, March, that would be about 8 months. And we still don't have a date for which this contract is to be sent out for bids. In the meantime, Mike Kilbreath and myself have made inquiries, mine through Dennis Pfeiffer, to get me a copy of the existing financial statement, so I could preview it. It should be available to anyone who is a citizen of the city of Flint, or anyone should be able to see the financial statement,
right,
from the lease, or a copy of the existing contract. What is in that contract? What's included in the contract? What's not included in the contract? If I'm going to bid on the contract,
you want to know what's in
the
it,
contents of it.
Right.
I'd also be really interested in the current financial statement, because I had developed a certain mix between outings that are done at a golf course, between leagues that are done at a golf course, and between open golfing that's done.
Plus, you want to know, you're a businessman. You have to look at the financials.
There's a certain a magic or a certain mix to that. You can't have so many leagues that outsiders in a public golf course can't get a tee time,
right?
Because there's a league there all the time. You can't have every weekend tied up with outings when somebody who is a member of the
just wants to come in and have
wants to come and play on the weekend, and he can never get there because they always have an outing. So there's a kind of a magic formula there, in combination with Mother Nature being the boss of everything. Is not an easy thing to do. But if you don't pay any taxes, if you don't have to buy any equipment to start up with, you don't need any inventory.
That just startles me.
If everything is there, the buildings, the structures, the bar equipment, and
they got a house fully furnished with the car in the garage.
Oh yeah, house fully furnished with the car in the garage. And so anyway, I was interested in bidding on that. So I called the mayor's office a couple of times, because I know Sheldon Neely from having been director of transportation and director of housing in the past, during his time when he was on the city council. Got along very well, by the way. I think he's a good man.
I'm glad you think that.
But I didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, probably won't.
Mike, however, did get a call from Wendy Braun.
Oh, now Wendy Braun is
John Daly's wife.
Oh, yeah.
There's a connection there. We may be talking about that in a future program here.
Okay.
But she told Mike, you tell John Carpenter he'll never get that golf course bid. So really?
Wow.
So, well, maybe you should invite her here to find out, did she really say that or did she not say that? If
I
she
guess
wants to
so.
refute that,
Hey, Wendy, what's
Ever-
going on?
ever come and talk about it.
Huh.
But anyway, that's another subject. What happened subsequently, just about a month ago, is that Mike reported back to me that he had a tape of a person who was approaching the pro shop there for a tea time at Swartz Creek,
Okay.
and didn't recognize the young man who was behind the counter.
Okay.
And so he said to the young man, "This is all on tape now. So
It's all on tape.
Anybody wants to refute it, bring them here and set them down. Let
And
them
we can
refute
play
it.
the tape.
It's okay with me."
Okay.
And he said to the young man, "Oh, are you new here?" And the young man said, "No, I've been here." He said, "Oh, well, I didn't recognize you. I thought maybe you were part of the new owners."
Mm.
He said, "Oh, there is no new owners." He said, "Oh, the person who was inquiring for a tea time and didn't recognize this person because he hadn't seen him before." So, well, I understand that the contract was for this was coming up for bid, and I thought maybe you were part of the new administration.
Mm-hmm.
He said, No. We have the mayor in our back pocket. That'll never happen." Quote, "We have the mayor in our back pocket. That will never happen."
Quote one more time. "We have the mayor in our back pocket. That will never happen." All on tape.
Yep, it's on tape. Mike Kilbreth has it.
Okay.
So Mike called me and he told me about this. He said, "You got to be kidding. Let's go to the city council," which is where you and I made contact before. So we went to city council. Mike got up in front of the city council and he expressed that story to all the council people. Then I got up as the second speaker and a backup.
No, we're good.
Okay. I thought maybe we were running out of time.
Oh, no. We're good. We're
okay.
good.
So I got up after that then and asked the city council in an open meeting where all the news media and everybody was there. I said, "I'm Mr. Carpenter. I'm a qualified bidder for this contract. It was reported to me back in November. It was voted by city council in January, 9-0 to go out for bids. And this is almost 8 months later, and we still don't have the date. I don't have the outline or the requirements that it's to be a qualified a bidder. So we don't have the date and don't have the qualifications. We don't have a copy of the existing contract."
Now, did you FOIA this information or you just asked for it or?
No, we just asked for it in the past.
Okay.
In the past through, well, my inquiries through Dennis Pfeiffer.
Okay.
Who is on the council. He just keeps apologizing. "John, I already asked him. I
seemed like they would have got back to him.
FOIA. What was the word?
FOIA.
Made a referral.
Okay. Made a referral to the administration.
And,
blah.
And they just ignore my request. So at that meeting, and you were there at the time. So at that meeting, when I asked them to maybe somebody could help me out here. You're all the city council. You all voted 9-0 to send this out for bids. What's taken 8 months to put together a contract that already exists?
Right.
You may want to add to or subtract from that or modify it. It's okay. All I want to do is see what's the.
I just want to bid.
Let's get right. I just want to bid. I can assure you and your listeners, $15,000 is flat ridiculous.
I mean, I've never even played on a real golf course, just miniature golf. And I knew right away the bar alone is going to make you $15,000.
Oh,
I mean, in a week, maybe in a day, couple days. It just depends.
There are other ways in a golf course. Also, we don't need to go into detail on the management, but they young girls like to have their wedding there the golf course.
Yeah.
And so there's an
photos and
opportunity to
stuff.
have weddings there if your facility is large enough.
Right.
And in most cases, at Sugarbush, for example, we used to joke about it a little bit, but I would tell people who were inquiring, we had a young lady who was in charge of doing bride meetings there, so that they would come there and we could
you did have bride shows
facilities
out there. I remember
they had
that.
bride shows.
Yes,
there.
I remember.
We had a young lady who was in charge of the bridal shows. And so with that, all the brides and the bridesmaids and all of her friends and everything would come there. Well, this would be a nice place here on Potter Lake,
right?
To have our wedding. Can we have our wedding here? So, well, you can have your wedding here, but young lady, this facility is what I call a second time around. In other words, if you're just getting married for the first time, you may have hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 people who would come to your wedding. But the second time around,
you're not going to have that many.
We're not going to have that many, and
Right.
so we're pretty well set up for
second time around weddings.
Second time around weddings. We do have an open balcony, and so we can expand on that a little bit without going into all the details. We could add maybe another 100, 150 people there. But if it rains, some people could get wet.
Right.
And subsequently, we did have some weddings there, and it did rain, and people did get wet. And guess what? They loved it.
Oh, when you're drinking, you don't really care.
We went to the wedding there, and everybody got wet, and we just had so much fun. And these young people, they don't really care.
Right.
And,
so back to this. Like, I'm puzzled because $15,000, which I said was crazy all along for 2 golf courses. They're not paying any taxes to the city of Flint. It's like the people keep coming to Flint and they get a tax write-off. Like, come to Flint, you're going to get a tax abatement, tax write-off. Just come on to Flint, get your business here. This is a steal. And it's kind of making me wonder, this guy who said, we have the mayor in our back pocket. And
that in itself, plus FOIA and trying to find out information.
They won't release any information.
When the council, you're 9 people here. You're all sitting here with a responsibility of seeing that people pay their taxes.
Right. They get on each other for not paying
taxes. They get
taxes.
their services, and they get their roads fixed.
Right.
And they get their street lights repaired, and they get places torn down. Part of my responsibility as transportation director was the roads, both cleaning them and replacing them and keeping them patched, and the street lights, and the real estate department, and all the demolitions. So the council people are there to see that their ward gets what they have coming to them in the way of repairs.
Oh, yeah.
When I was there, I tried to make sure that every ward got what they had coming to them.
Did Councilman Murphy ever get back with you? You said you talked to Councilman Pfeiffer, but did you ever hear back from Councilman Murphy?
No, I didn't, and I don't know. I don't know to this day whether he was able to get a copy of those things.
Okay.
Somehow I doubt it, or I think he would have contacted. I knew Quincy long before he was. When I was transportation director, he was not on the city council then. He was a regular speaker at the meetings.
Right, he was
relaying his concerns over certain issues that were being taken place there. When I arrived there, as a footnote to this conversation, when I arrived there, the city council, the mayor appointed Bill Ayer as transportation director. Then Bill came to me when the mayor had asked me to be an interim director for the housing department.
And this is the Don, guys. This is under the Don.
This is the Don. He came to me. They put my name there. They voted against my appointment 8-1. I only knew one council person, and that person knew me, and they said, "Yeah, John can do that. He's got the background." 8 months later, well, I went to the mayor then, and I told him Don, the city council didn't approve me. He said, well, we'll make you the interim director. Well, we're looking for somebody to fill that position. You just go back to your office and go to work.
Right.
So I went
This
back
is
there.
done, like-
Some 6 months, maybe I think it was more like 8 months later. I went back to him and said, Don, I'm not all that comfortable with being the interim director.
Who would be?
Okay, well, you go back to. So I want to go back to city council and ask for their a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to the city council and asked for their blessing, and they voted 8-1 to keep John Carpenter as the permanent director. As I recall, back in the day, Jackie Poplar was the only one who voted against me.
Oh,
when I went,
that's something about that second ward seat there.
Well, there's more information I could share with you sometime in the future.
I just love corruption.
As to why Ms. Poplar did not vote for Mr. Carpenter when
probably had something to do with the park or something.
Council people, well, it could have.
Okay, we'll save some more for our viewers later.
So that pretty much is what I have to share with your listening audience right now, and I'm as puzzled as you are as to why the city has not put this out for bids when the council voted 9-0 to put it out for bids.
Well, now we have our sticky fingers on it. You can't get a copy
of the existing contract. You can't get a copy of the existing financial statement. You cannot get a copy of the outline for the bid and a date for which that bid is due. We're closing in. This is so we're mid-August. I'll be leaving again in November.
And that's when the contract is up in November.
That's when the contract is up. So I don't know if we're stalling, waiting around for that. Mr. Carpenter's only a plane ride and a couple $100 away from being present at that meeting. The golf course will be closed, of course, by that time, and not opening again until probably mid-April. I used to open a little bit early, depending on Mother Nature, what she had to say, and when she's ready to finish her winter and start her summer. I don't know if you remember years ago, we had a blizzard April the 24th. I know that because it's my birthday.
Oh, well, okay.
And snow was right up to your waist.
No, I remember that.
April, the golf courses didn't open then, of course, until much later. So depending on Mother Nature. And so there's plenty of time to send that out for bids. And there are other qualified people. I'm not saying that I would be the qualified bidder.
Yeah, but you're raising a concern.
But my concern is that the taxpayers in the city
are getting stiffed.
Are not getting their they're not getting their comeuppance for what they're furnished. And
someone tag right versus wrong.
I can't I can't verify about the equipment as to who's going to take repair of the equipment. I know from the golf course that the golf carts wear out.
Right.
And so there's parts in that, whether you lease them from a wholesaler or whether you buy them from there.
If you're only paying $15,000 a year for 2 golf courses, let's just say I'm making $100,000 a month during the season, I can buy my own carts and just keep that money. I'm going to save up the money and get my own carts.
I wish I could provide some input there, but I can't tell you whether the city is furnishing that, whether they're furnishing the repairs to it. But insurance, liability insurance, is a biggie. So if just in fact the city of Flint paid for the liability insurance, would be like a home run. Let's you and I start a golf course and we don't have to pay any liability insurance.
We have a question for you. Flint City Golf LLC was applying for the contract. Do you know who that is? Flint City Golf LLC. It's one of our viewers groups.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, remember that. I'm going to have to look into that. Flint City Golf LLC. Okay. Right versus wrong. They are here. So I'm going to let Mr. Carpenter exit before I take over the last half of the show. But I did want to thank you for coming on and enlightening our viewers with some more information that I was talking about, and I wanted to make sure that I had the proper people here that could expand on that conversation. I appreciate you for coming forth with the information you have. We've learned a lot of great things here today, and now I have something to do. So I hope maybe I can get some tea time. I come out there and when you get those golf courses or whoever gets them for the city of Flint.
I was by there Tuesday late in the afternoon, maybe 6 o'clock or so. I don't think you could find a place to park.
Wow.
At Swartz Creek. That place was packed.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
$15,000
for two. So
let's say $7,500 a piece.
Oh, they're the ones that've been operating these golf courses. Okay, so he told us in the beginning of the conversation that one of the owners was an attorney, accountant, some guy.
As I understand it, one of the two original partners passed away. I think the attorney passed away.
Okay.
So how someone, they would have the experience now.
Right. Of course
at the taxpayers' expense.
Right.
Taxpayers will not have to pay any thing from my experience. I already know what I think is the right combinations, but I would have to see the financial statements, the outline of the contract itself, and of course, do some research before the bid. I don't want to know.
Right, absolutely. You just can't
2 days before the bids due.
Absolutely.
I'd like to know in advance, but
okay.
I'll thank you once again.
Well, thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for coming on.
I appreciate this opportunity and hope that we can make something happen here.
We will. We'll shake some stuff and move some stuff around, and I'll be giving you a call.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So he's exiting now. I got to wrap up everything that's going on. We want to thank Mr. Carpenter again. I see my groups on here. Right versus wrong. Is this what we do on the YouTube side? So we've learned some things tonight. Back in the earlier part of the year, January, February, December-ish, they had I remember when Dennis Pfeiffer raised a concern about the golf courses. And I remember when they were like $15,000 for 2 golf courses. We had these conversations online. But then everything went away. It just got real quiet, right? Like everything normally does in Flint. Give it a few months, the people will forget about it. Well, we have citizens like Mr. Carpenter, like Mike Kilbreth, who don't want to just forget about it. People just stumble up on these things. It's so much corruption. And I just feel like, it's something fishy in the game. They won't turn over any financial statements. They won't turn over any contracts. If you don't have anything to hide, what is the problem? But again, this is Flint. This is Flint City politics. We will never be able to get anywhere with all of the corruption, with all of the infighting. It just amazes me to the level of lawlessness that the people in this community are subjected to on a daily basis. It gets worse and worse and worse. People are either scared to speak up about it, or when they do speak up about it, it is retaliation. Sometimes you just got to take the good with the bad. So the second part of the show, which I've already gave you a little brief introduction to, is called the divine transition. I figured I'd use some fancy words talking about the divine transition. As you all know, let me just give you an analogy, because it's not really a lot that I want to say about this at the present moment. But I can tell you that Wyntis Hall loves A10 News Media Group. Okay? Wyntis Hall will always love A10 News Media Group. Wyntis Hall will always love Mickey Jordan, the greatest producer in the world. But mama didn't raise no fool. And it comes to a point where you look in the mirror and you keep asking God for signs. And when you don't adhere to those signs, sooner or later, God is not going to keep sending you those signs. Is this me saying that, oh, I've gotten too big and I'm walking away? No, that's not it. I always thought that I was something. Mama always said it was a pole dog that won't wag his own tail. But mama also said, when you know better, you got to do better. This here is the key to A10 Studios right here. Mr. Gilchrist, Mary Weaver, we good. But there's the key. In order for me to advance, I can't be here. I can't record here any longer. I will be leaving the A10 Studios. I won't be leaving A10, but I'll be leaving this building. Stick around, because in this divine transition, when Wyntis Hall does come back, baby, don't count me out. You pray, because I'm gonna be okay. But when I come back, I'm gonna come back a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, and a little bit harder. So wait for it. Share this video, because it's gonna be many more of them to come. It just won't be here. But I thank you for all of the lessons that I've learned while here. I thank you for everything that you've taught me. But again, this is not me saying goodbye to A10 News Media Group or Mickey Jordan. This is saying goodbye to this place where I'm at right now. You cannot stay somewhere and you don't see any advancement in your life. You have to do some self-evaluation. If you're not going up, you're not going down. If you just still staying on the same plane, you got to evaluate some things. I'll tell that story later. Stay tuned. Wyntis Hall loves you. Have a good one.